Okay, what is up, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Make sure you do check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. You can find the link to that in the description below, also at the top of the chat. You can chat with other traders, share ideas there. I share ideas there as well. You can find updates about Elevating Traders as well. So if you're interested, make sure you head over and check it out. Links in the description. But good morning, people. Hope everyone's doing good. Matt, what is up? Welcome, welcome. Tony Gold, what is up? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Darkshon, hope you're doing good. Market gone well this morning. Yeah, we have seen some weird movements. Yeah, of course, if it's not looking ideal for the trade, I think the best thing to do is just sit on your hands. No need to try and force anything. If nothing's looking clear, no need to force anything, especially when it's kind of unpredictable at the moment as well. But yeah, on the lower time frames, did see a bit of a spike this morning. Quite a few pairs, yen pairs. We saw a bit of a move there as well. There's still a few yen pairs I'm interested on trading, but we'll go through the USD side of things first. Take a look at that. DXY, USD majors, gold, silver. We'll go through. Gold's been very bullish. Silver's been very bullish too. So a lot to speak about with those particular markets. But as always, if you have any particular requests, any specific time frames, let me know. Drop it down in the chat, and of course we'll discuss and see what is happening. But first things first, we have the dollar. So USD still kind of just respecting support. Of course, the market's been very bearish, so naturally we are looking for a bit of a pullback. We are trading at some impressive support. If we look to the left here, this is the weekly chart. If I mark that zone, bring it across, you can still see just about prices respecting this level. Drops the daily time frame. We did see a bit of a bullish close yesterday, but again, nothing special. Nothing really indicating to us that the market is going to have a massive reversal. Yes, support is holding, but momentum is still with the bears. No real strength in the rejection. We could very much break through this, but yeah, dropping to the lower time frames. Yeah, not much to take in, to be honest. Just a lot of sideways movement. I like the wicks to the downside, again, indicating support is holding, but no kind of real sign of momentum shifting. So being a bit skeptical of the dollar, I'm again still looking for the same move, retracement before some short opportunities. I like this low here on the daily chart. If we drop to the 4 hour, not 5J, 4 hour, pretty much a retest of this low here would do the job for me and hopefully take some shorts back to where we came from. And that is all I'm looking for from the dollar, because the market's still insanely bearish. So I don't want to be looking for any big move, because we've already seen a big move. I'm not going to try and bank on more continuation when the market's quite stretched already. And the fact that we're trading at some major lows back from 2023, we've taken them out. The market is quite stretched. So I'm expecting a bigger bullish move at some point. Again, the market could still fall a lot further before we do have that big recovery, but I'm not to know that. So if I do get shorts, I'm going to be staying a bit more cautious with targets and not looking for anything too far. Looking to hold that trade maybe for a couple of days or so. But we'll see if we get the pullback first. That needs to happen. We could, of course, just break to the downside, but we'll see. So the game plan is still the same with the dollar, just waiting for some retracement for, again, some more selling opportunities. And of course, with euro, the exact opposite is true. Still seeing a lot of momentum, looking for some pullbacks, for some buying opportunities. We did close bearish yesterday, but again, not a significant rejection for me in terms of what the market did. It's a slight bearish candle, yes, but that could just be a pause for us to continue. We've taken out some major highs in the weekly chart as well. So again, euro's pretty stretched. Major highs being taken out. So I do expect to see some type of pullback, even if the market is going to have another big move to the upside. We're likely to pull back at some stage before continuing, and that's the move I'm looking to see if I can trade. There is some nice resistance below us, which we haven't come back to retest yet. We'll drop to the 4 hour chart and refine it into this level here. It would be nice to see a pullback into that zone, back into 1.15, and then hopefully some longs, potentially a move back into the highs. So that's all I'm looking for on Euro USD, which again is the same idea for the dollar. just flipped pretty much. So yeah, not really interested in selling euro just yet. I know the market's quite oversold and it's likely to come down at some stage, but I'm being a bit more cautious with that, and not looking to jump into anything too soon. I would be open to sell euro, but I only see a lot more rejection signs of price about to roll over. So break of structure, lower highs, prominent lower highs as well, with some momentum for me to be excited. If we kind of just steadily, correctively fall to the downside, well, then I'm just going to focus on the buys and some pullback opportunities from that same level. So that's still very much the plan for Euro USD. Pound USD, surprisingly pretty bullish, just continuing to the upside. I think pound's been pretty strong this week. Bullish close after bullish close. We've taken up these highs here on the left and haven't really seen much retracement since then as well. Even the last 4-hour candle did close pretty strong to the upside. So pound USD is definitely seeing a load of strength this week. We've got major highs back here around 1.335, 336. It does look like we're clearing resistance here on our left. So I am looking for some pullbacks here for pound for more upside. Ideally, would be nice for a price to come back and retest the high or retest that weekly level we just mentioned for a pullback and a continuation. I do think we will. The market is insanely stretched right now. This is a very, very big move with not much of a pullback. So I do think we're likely to spring back in the other direction pretty soon. In terms of trajectory, I do think that level on the daily chart, weekly chart, is going to be tested pretty soon. There's just so much momentum in the market right now. I doubt we reverse and don't test that level. So very strong V-shaped pattern here for pound USD. Very strong impulse down, followed by a very strong impulse up, which again is a very common reversal pattern, which does play out pretty well. So now just looking for the correction and the continuation. So hopefully we can see some downside for pound USD because I am looking to buy it. And now dollar CAD, we did see a bit of a rejection on yesterday. Price coming back to major resistance on the left, turning into support. In fact, if I go to the weekly chart, you'll see what I'm talking about. Really big level on our left here, which price is kind of trading in now, which is why I've been a bit more cautious with dollar CAD. I am looking to sell it still, but I do want to see some bigger pullbacks into this area or even this area here as well before discussing any short trades. Right now we're still in bullish territory. Pretty strong close down the daily chart yesterday. I think if we can get a decent rejection coming back into this range, there actually could be some nice buys there for dollar CAD. Bit more of an aggressive trade because you're still going counter trend, but the idea is that we've seen a reversal of the momentum, so a big move down, consolidation, big push up, and now price is coming back to retest that consolidation. So if you can retest the high successfully there, probably could be looking at some intraday opportunities, so maybe a nice bullish engulfing. That could be a nice trade there. Again, you probably want to keep it short and sweet, just in case that DXY momentum does kick back in, because the DXY is still looking pretty bearish. So I wouldn't really recommend trying to hold a big swing from an intraday level anyway. If you're looking to buy the dollar, I think that's a little bit on the risky side of things. If you can be in and out within a day or a couple of days, I think that's the best way to play. And you can always leave positions to run where the risk is a bit more minimal. Yeah, dollar is, the bears are still in control of the dollar right now. So any long-term buys is always going to be a bit more tricky. But it's a nice level coming back to test it. We're trading within this support level here. In fact, if I go to the daily chart, we're trading within this support level. So it's the idea that this support is holding and we could see potentially a bit of a reaction. So I would keep an eye on that if you're looking at dollar CAD intraday opportunities. I'm still more fixated on the shorts. So I'm waiting to see if we can get a push into this area for another sell. And that's still my main idea there for with dollar CAD. In terms of Aussie dollar, this one again still kind of just slowly pushing to the upside. Again, very, very bullish price action since that drop a couple of weeks ago. I do think there's a lot more upside to be had with Aussie dollar. Again, I'm looking at this move here is a bit of a fake move, and then prices recover that very aggressively. So I do think this is going to be a bit of a bottom. So I do think upside is pretty likely here. The only thing is just about finding a good opportunity to actually trade it. Now, I've spoke about price potentially pulling back into this level. That ideally would be the best place for me to buy Aussie dollar from, because at the moment we're trading to resistance, and this is not the best time to be looking to buy the market. Again, maybe if you're intraday, you can get away with that because, again, you're in and out, taking profit at the highs. Swing, you could be running into a bit of trouble if we do see price successfully reject this level. So if I'm going to look to buy from here, it's because price has had a substantial breakthrough and a relatively healthy pullback to retest it. Then I will consider a buy like that, which is kind of similar to what which pair was it? NZD, which we'll take a look at in a second. We've had a really strong break at the high, so I'm happy to look for pullbacks for a retest of it. But Aussie dollar, I'm either looking for a bigger pullback into 0.622. So back into this area here would be ideal. And then hopefully you can find some longs from there as well. If not, then the retest of the high. But my expectation is more upside, a very strong V-shaped pattern here. Impulse down, impulse back up. There's your V-shape reversal patterns. Now you're looking for the correction of that and the continuation. And then yeah, targets 0.65 potentially, but we'll see. I'll make targets up when it's closer to time. NZD USD as well. Very strong reversal price action. Again, there's your impulse down, consolidation, impulse back up again. So giving us that very strong V-shaped pattern. Now I'm looking at a correction of that. You can see how many consecutive bullish candles we've had on the way up. Not much retracement. It's been a while since I've seen such a bullish move that's kind of continued for so long in this kind of angle, if you will. The market has been grinding higher quite well. So I do think we'll have a bit of a drop here for NZD USD. It's just healthy for the market. But again, I still expect more upside in terms of the longer term move. The way I'm seeing it on the higher time frames is, again, the market's forming a bit of a bottom here. So I do think we can start to push. I mean, we already are pushing quite a lot, but I still think there's a bit more upside to be had. I'm not looking for a bottom in terms of I'm expecting price to form a low and completely reverse. Absolutely not, but I do think we could probably see maybe a bullish 2 or 3 weeks here. So I do think there is upside to tackle. In terms of the daily chart though, this is kind of the level I'm looking for the buy from. So the retest of the high, which is at 0.582, or the retest of this high, which is 0.576. So either of those levels look good to me. Really healthy levels of prior resistance. Good chance of acting as support. We'll see how price gets there, how we react, of course, and things look good. I'll be more than happy to jump into some longs, but Aussie dollar longs, NZD USD, Aussie dollar longs, New Zealand dollar longs are both right at the top of my watch list right now. So keeping a close eye on them. In terms of gold, gold's just flying to the upside. Did see a nice entry in the 15-minute. Actually, we spoke about the 15 because someone asked about the 15 yesterday. I don't really look at the 15-minute time frame for my personal trading, but we did see price come back and respect this lovely range here on the left, which is kind of where price consolidated, and we had a really strong move to the upside. We eventually did get a retest later in the afternoon. But yeah, gold being gold, absolutely ripping to the upside, which is why I said probably best to not have a take profit for gold, because you just don't know how big of a move gold can give you. It might be a slow corrective grind to the high, then we sell off again, or it could be one of these moves. Gold in this current circumstance is just extremely bullish, and you just don't know how big of a move we can get. I mean, gold's already trading at 3,300. We've got the next big psychological level was 3,500, which is crazy because we only just hit 3K not long ago, and we're about to hit, well, not about to hit, we still got quite a way to go, but we're not too far away from 3,500, which is pretty surreal. We've done that so quickly. So gold's extremely bullish. Next idea right now would be a lovely test of this range here. I like the consolidation, strong break to the upside. Again, if you could see a relatively corrective pullback into that zone, I think that'll be a lovely place for a buy. I was speaking about the high here. We didn't get that retest. but something like that looks pretty nice. So onwards and upwards for gold. Next target, I would say 33.50. And then of course, didn't do anything there. 33.50. Again, what's going on? There we go. And then 3,400 as well. But I wouldn't be surprised if we rip past that. And then silver's looking pretty bullish too, but again, just a bit awkward for silver. It's looking bullish, but the areas in which we are trading, I can't really do too much for silver. If we start pulling back, I might consider something like this, a pull back into that brief bearish candle there. Because again, price had a brief stall and then we pushed to the upside. I'll see how this daily candle closes just to really confirm momentum. But we're pushing back into bearish territory. You know, this prior low here, you know, coming back into an area like this as well. This is where bearish momentum came from. This is prior support turn resistance. This is all bearish territory. So, yeah, me looking to try and take a long-term buy for silver. I can't really be looking to buy into that. Even if I think silver's going to break through these areas, I just need to be a bit more cautious. So, a pull back into this zone might be something I could look at. But still, it's probably not the best opportunity for me. It's just a bit awkward. But yeah, I think silver is likely to follow gold. Again, still expecting silver to get back to 35 and beyond. Just have to be a bit cautious as we approach resistance and areas of supply where we could see sellers jump into the market. Even if I think price is going to break through, I don't want to be buying into that and take a loss unnecessarily. So yeah, that's the plan there with gold, silver. USD still pretty bearish for me. So, yeah, Aussie dollar longs, pound longs, New Zealand longs are some of the best opportunities I can see right now. Just waiting for some pullbacks. Matt got burned last week, sitting up mostly until after Easter unless something undeniable turns up. Good way to manage it. Yeah, I mean, the human nature of us, you know, after taking a bit of a loss, you kind of want to get right back into the markets and make it back. But sometimes that's the worst time to be trading because you're not really trading to trade well. You're trading to make back the previous loss. So you're not going to be optimal in terms of your thinking, your decision making. It's going to be a bit more rash, a bit more, just a bit more kind of just, yeah, if anything looks remotely good, I'm going to take it. So, having a slightly bit more chilled, relaxed approach, kind of slowly easing yourself back into things, is a great way to kind of slow down, slow down your trading and slowly pick it back up again because you don't want to dig a hole and dig a bigger hole. It's going to take you longer to get back from it. So yeah, I think that's a smart move. But yeah, the markets are still pretty volatile right now. So even if you didn't get burnt last week, it's probably a time in the markets where maybe you want to be a bit more cautious just regardless because we are still quite volatile right now and it can be a bit tricky to maneuver. What's up, the High Elf? I am doing good. Hope you're doing good as well. What's up, Tashi? Welcome. What's up, Magical Lyrics? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Janish, what's up, Pound Yen? Sure, we'll take a look. Ahmed, good morning. Hope you're well. Yeah, we'll go through pound yen. I'll go through some of the yen pairs because yen pairs have been a bit jumpy. So pound yen. So we did start off the week. Well, I was going to say we started off the week bullish. We are still bullish. The market looks to be holding on to this low here on the left. You can see that last week was just a bit awkward, but we kind of managed to stay above that level. We can see that more so in the daily time frame. Price support here, taking that cross, a lot of wicks into this area, especially with this wick here last Wednesday, and overall support is holding. So even though I do have a pretty bearish bias for pound yen longer term, spoke about many times, I'm still expecting a push into the wick low there, but I have to be patient for that because I can see prices still struggling at this area, so it doesn't really make for a good short right now. I've spoken about a push back into this kind of area here where we had a lovely range and price dropped down. That would still be my optimal place for a short. Whether price gets there or not, well, that's a different question because I don't know, maybe we have a pullback and price pulls back halfway before selling off. That's a possibility. But if I'm going to hit my confluences and where I kind of want to position myself short for a big swing, this is kind of the optimal place for it. So I'm kind of hoping pound yen gets there. At the moment, we are still looking pretty corrective and lacking a lot of momentum coming back into resistance. So I do think we might have a bit of a move to the downside here for Aussie. Why was I going to say Aussie dollar? For pound yen. We did have a bit of a spike to the upside this morning. That bullish candle kind of came out of nowhere. Dropped to the 15. You can see just suddenly a big push to the upside. And I'm pretty sure that's across the board for the yen pairs, I think. But yeah, very jumpy move to the upside into resistance. I would wait to see how we react because potentially momentum can still push on. But if we see another hourly candle of perhaps a doji or another wick to the upside, that could potentially start a nice short and we could look to roll over again. But resistance at 189.6 is still holding pretty well. So if that can stay true, intact, I think that's a great place for a short. Stops above the high and potentially a short back into support. Support down at these areas, 187.2, 187, I think makes for a good target, and that's still a decent swing trade depending on your entry as well. The market just looks a bit weird there. Let me look at a different broker. Yeah, FXCM is a bit weird. But yeah, the market is still quite slow coming back into that resistance. So I do think we can see some downside as long as price keeps that up. Then I do think a nice short could form potentially later this afternoon. Like I said, as for myself, my preferred opportunity, favorite opportunity is still shorts up here. But we'll just have to wait and see if price can actually make that move. At the moment, we're still looking very staggered, very slow coming to resistance. If that continues into this afternoon, I do think pound yen will see a little bit of relief to the downside, at least. Looking at some other yen pairs, euro yen is still definitely a pair I'm focusing on. What's up, Knox? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. I'm keeping an eye on this one. It's just been moving very awkwardly, so I'm staying patient. But the idea is still, I'm looking for another lower high over here to form for a push down. We've got one high there, a second high there. I'm looking at this as the third high roughly. And of course, if that is true, then we should be making our way back into support pretty soon, which is all the way down at 155.5. The way I'm looking to see if I can find an entry would be if price can push back into resistance again, because there's a lot of noise here and a lot of kind of just uncertainty with the price action. So I kind of want to stay away from this now. And if we can get a push back into high, that will allow me to have a relatively safer stop loss above the wicks here. So, okay, if the price does hit my stop loss, it's either I got wicked out, or I was just generally in the wrong direction and price does want to have a breakout. And if I do get wicked out, I can always just re-enter at the same area, provided I do get another entry, of course. So I'm just having a lot more safer stop loss if I can get it above the wicks there. But yeah, it's the same idea as before with euro yen. Nothing's really changed. Still looking at this massive head and shoulder pattern on the weekly chart. So you got your left, you got your head, you got your right shoulder. There's your neckline, and I'm looking for price to eventually break through that and see a lot more downside. If we do go and break structure here, I'll rest my case. Perhaps I was in the wrong direction there, and I'll probably reanalyze euro yen at that point in time. But yeah, hoping to see a bit more of a push to the upside for a sell. Yeah, we'll see if we can get that, but it's just very awkward, very sideways, so don't want to jump in and force anything at this moment in time. What's up, Asim? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Okay, so your long dollar CAD 1.38712 close at 80% on H1 supply today. Okay, nice. Please suggest if I should add some positions or wait for the red folder CAD news later. Well, again, with news, it just depends how your take is and your stop loss as well. Because if you have a bigger stop loss, you could probably stomach the news. If not, if you're going to enter on the, I don't know, if you're going to enter on the hourly time frame, I probably would say you might be okay. Any lower than the hourly time frame, it might be best to wait for after. because you're going to have a tighter stop loss. You're going to be more kind of vulnerable to fluctuation, to the news. But dollar CAD, I actually like the buys for dollar CAD where we're situated, really healthy level of support, and we could see price really turn around from here. You're long from 1.38712. So that's somewhere around here. So you're asking if you should add to the position or wait till the news. Again, there's no right or wrong answer with that. You can add to the position, potentially the news goes your way and you be sitting in some healthy profit. You could add before the news as well. Maybe the news goes against you. And yeah, it'll go against you and maybe knock off your original trade as well. Or you could wait for the news, but potentially price might have already pushed in your direction. You won't be able to get that re-entry as well. So there's just pros and cons. There's no right and wrongs. I think the best thing to do is just be aware of the pros and cons of whatever decision you make. If the decision is to get in before the news, be aware that, okay, the news could go against you. How are you prepared for that? What is the potential loss on that position going to be collectively? If you're happy with that potential loss, if it does happen, then I don't see a problem with it. Of course, being aware that you could be slipped as well. And if you don't enter before the news and you wait till after, we'll be prepared that potentially price might go in your favor first, and you might not get that re-entry or that re-entry where you want it to be because maybe it's moving in your direction. So just weigh there's pros and cons. Like I said, there's no right or wrong answer to that question. It is just based on your preference and how you define your risk as a trader. I think it's a nice place to add to a position. So just speaking on the technicals, I think it's actually a nice place to add to a position, especially if you're down here somewhere as well because you're further away. Price right now is coming back and do some broken resistance, turn support. And if we can start to respect this level, I do think we could actually see another swing back to the high. So I think that's a nice place to take a buy. I probably would wait for some type of bullish indication like a bullish engulfing candle to really indicate the momentum is back with the buyers again. But it's a solid level. I like the way the market's moved. Very strong impulse move. Now we're kind of coming back down a lot slower, which implies that this is probably a retracement for us to continue going higher. So it does tick a lot of boxes here. But in terms of whether you want to get in before or after, I'll leave that decision up to you because at the end of the day, it's your money, it's your account. I don't want to make that decision for you. Like I said, just weigh out the pros and cons for whatever decision you make, and as long as you're happy with that, then that's the right one. But let me have a look at the CAD news. Okay, so we've got the interest rates at 245. So yeah, an interest rate like that could definitely push price. I mean, the rates are expected to stay the same, but an interest rate decision can definitely push price a lot for CAD. And again, if you're going to have a very refined stop loss, especially if like you're entering the 15, I'll probably wait till after the news just because of the safety of it. And be prepared that potentially price might, move away as well. But because you already have a position, you probably don't want to force things as well. But yeah, I'll leave that decision for you to make. In terms of some of the other yen pairs, so euro yen, pound yen, in terms of dollar yen as well. Now, dollar yen still kind of slowly pushing to the downside. That's because USD as a whole is still pretty weak. Yen's not necessarily that quite strong. I mean, we'll take a look at the yen basket. But dollar yen still kind of falling to the downside ever so slowly. We do have major support below us here at 140. What is this? 140.945. We do have major support below us, which I'm still expecting price to go and test. So yeah, I'm still expecting a bit more downside there for dollar yen, but I did say it would be nice if we can get a bit of a pullback, which at the moment is not looking on the cards right now. I spoke a lot about this area where all those kind of wicks collected. It would be nice to see price kind of push into that zone again, respect it, then sell. Unfortunately, nothing quite there yet. I also like the low there as well at 146.9. So those will be some nice levels to short from. I do expect to see that 140 level hit eventually, but it's either we kind of roll over and just kind of go and miserably go and hit the level, or we might push up one more time before we do sell, and that could provide some nice opportunities later on in the week or whenever it does form. So yeah, dollar yen trajectory not too far away from 140, so bear that in mind. But if we can see some pullbacks, I think that's a nice trade. In fairness, we've had a relatively healthy bearish trend for a while now. No real indication of reversal. We respected the high over there, and prices continued to fall off since. So yeah, dollar yen naturally expecting that to push lower. CAD yen, last time I checked, was looking a little bit bearish. Is that still the case? Not so much. We kind of pushed up a little bit. We've had some weird candles there with FXCM. If I go to Oanda, yeah, it's a bit cleaner on Oanda. But yeah, with CAD yen, I mean, CAD yen is still very sideways to me, so I'm not a fan of the price action at all. Higher time frames are still looking overall bearish, but the lower time frames are still very sideways. So as we can see, we're still seeing lower lows and lower highs, but we can look to the left and we're still respecting support here. So typically not really a place which I want to be shorting into, especially if I drop to the daily chart and all I can see is that price is still bouncing on this area here. So it doesn't give me a load of confidence to be shorting directly into that. If anything, there might be some short-term buys off this level. But again, I'm not too interested with the longs either. I mean, it's actually coming into a nice area, to be honest. Coming back into this area of demand where we had that crazy move to the upside last week. We've wicked into that. We probably could see a bit of a push to the upside. Whether it gives us a massive swing like such back into a high, or just a short-term move for maybe a few hours before rolling over. Not too sure about that, but it is definitely in some bullish territory here. And I like the way we kind of wicked to the downside through the low here as well. So that was a nice kind of way that we closed. Have a look in the hourly chart. Yeah, I think that could be a nice short-term buy with CAD yen. Not convinced about the long-term at all just yet. If we are going to continue selling off, I do want to see a strong break of support here. That would indicate to me, okay, sellers are back in control of the market and we're likely to continue. So retest and something like that would make a load of sense. But CAD yen, definitely not my favorite yen pair. Swiss yen, I'm kind of just keeping an eye on. I think I'm more so just looking to see how we close for the month, to be honest. No problem, Asim. Happy to help. I'll wait for the USD and CAD news and then decide. Okay, good plan, man. Yeah, like I said, there's no right or wrong decision to make. It's just based on risk. You can enter before the news and just be a bit more riskier. Of course, it could pay off potentially, or it could not pay off. Trading is something you don't really have that much information going into. So you just have to weigh up what you have and make the decision based on that. And of course, make risk your priority. And as long as you're on edge, that's the most important thing. But yeah, in terms of Swiss yen and keeping a close eye on this one, I actually think there could be some nice buys, which is funny because I've been pretty bearish with the yen pairs, but Swiss yen is actually looking like a decent buy on the lower time frames, more so the 4-hour chart. But I'm going to see how this month closes. If we close pretty bullish, perhaps we might actually push back to highs. We've broken through a pretty nice counter trend line on the weekly chart, which has definitely made me back away from my bearish bias. I said last week I was looking kind of for a lower high here to form and a push down. We've actually now closed very strongly above resistance there. So that kind of makes me want to back away a little bit. Going on to the daily chart, we have, of course, had this strong move here, brief consolidation with that doji, another big strong push to the upside. And yeah, this is kind of where I want to be looking to buy from. If we have a kind of nice corrective pullback, which so far we're kind of in line with, If we keep that up, then coming back into 172.5, I think that's a nice place to buy from. And targets, back to the high, keeping it pretty simple, nothing too crazy. So yeah, dollar yen actually looks like a decent buy to me. I was looking to sell it last week, but nothing really set up. We kind of just consolidated most of the week and then broke to the upside. Now I'm actually looking for a bit of a buy here. And target's back at 176. So that's what I'll keep an eye on for Swiss yen. In terms of Aussie yen and New Zealand yen, well, these guys have been slowly pushing to the upside, and again, rightly so. Both of them come into really big levels of support on the weekly chart. As we can see, this is Aussie yen looking to the left, major support there, massive move to the upside. We've come back into that same area again. So I've said from a daily point of view, I expect us to at least come back and retest the low here. We do have some areas just above us over there as well, which could provide a nice short opportunity too. So either 92 or 93 look like comfortable areas for some shorts here for Aussie yen. But it does look like Aussie is starting to gain some strength now. Same thing with NZD. They've been so weak for the past few weeks. So I do think it's time for them to actually pick up some strength. And that is kind of what we're seeing. We are still seeing a very slow corrective move here. So I do think as soon as we start to get back to 92 or 93, there could be some nice shorts to look at. It wouldn't be a situation, as I spoke yesterday, where I'll try and swing it back to the low here. It's definitely not a trade which I'll look to try and continue the trend. When the market's already had a big move, and in this case, we've already had a big move. The market's still pretty much bearish. So I think shorts are still good in this environment, but I just wouldn't look to try and push them too far. In FX, we don't tend to trend for too long. I know yen pairs can sometimes be a bit of an exception, but when the market's been falling for quite a while, you can sort of anticipate that a low is going to form. Maybe not, on the dot. Maybe we do see another leg before we do form that low, but the low is going to form soon enough here. So it doesn't give me that much confidence to be shorting long term. So if we can slowly correctively push to the upside, I do think there could be a short maybe for a couple of days before we do see some strength kick back in. And that short for a couple of days, if you can get an entry in the hourly chart, probably still catch a decent risk reward there. Likewise with the low here as well. If we have a slow push into that area, I do think we'll react to see at least a couple of days of some bearish momentum. And that could be worthwhile for a trade, even if the bigger move is still to the upside and we still continue higher. But I think the real reason why I still like it is because we're still pretty corrective. It's not like we're shooting to the upside with a lot of momentum. We're still slowly grinding higher. This is where the momentum lies with the bears. And we are still very counter trend with the way we're forming there. So I think the sells look good, just not looking to push that too far. In terms of New Zealand yen, pretty much the same idea as Aussie. So as you can see, if we look to the left, major support. Price tested it a few times before we had a really big move to the upside. We spiked for it last week, and now I do think we'll see a bit of upside. I do think a low is forming again for New Zealand yen as well. We've had a pretty big bearish move. We've taken up some major lows on the left. I do think it's time for a bigger pullback to be had. If I measure the fib, we've got the 50% there. I think naturally that's where price should be looking to at least get to. I think we can go a lot further than that, to be honest, but I think 50, because it normally represents the equilibrium, we've got a good chance of seeing price get to that area. But before then, again, still very corrective. We are coming back into a nice area of supply right now. I think this could provide some nice shorts again in the lower time frames. We saw a nice wick there on the prior daily candle close. So again, let's see if I drop to the hourly chart. What can we see? Okay, so we had that push. I'll probably wait to see if we can get back to the high again, slow down at the high, and then see if I can capitalize on something like that. Maybe a bit of a double top or just a new swing high created. I wouldn't be trying to take any shorts here. with New Zealand yen. So I still like the sells here. I still think we can get a nice move to the downside. But again, just kind of playing a bit more cautious because the market's kind of oversold already on higher time frames. And I do think NZD and Aussie are going to gain some strength soon. If I take a look at the yen basket. So yeah, yen basket is looking pretty weird as well. Not really doing too much, to be honest, because we are still kind of stuck within resistance here and support, to be honest. But you can see the market's kind of just giving us doji after doji after doji here. So really lacking momentum, so much wicks to the upside as well. It looks like we might see that retracement. I did suggest yesterday that actually probably see it better on the daily chart. I did suggest yesterday that if we could see Euro Yen pull back into this area, I think that would be a really, really nice place for a buy for Euro Yen. Again, price stalled there, big wicks to the downside, then we flew. I think a retest of that area, we could see a lot of bullish momentum into the market again. And possibly we could see a higher low form and a big continuation. I'm still looking for the yen basket to go and take up the high here on the left. That's still my main target for the yen. So I'm still expecting a lot more yen strength, but this is not the time to be looking to buy the yen right now. You can see we've got resistance on the left and the market just being very, very weird at this level right now. So I would be cautious of the yen, looking to buy or sell. I think it's still just a little bit up in the air right now. But if we can see some downsides, some pullbacks into this area, I think that would be a smart place for a buy. Again, not necessarily looking for the big swing. That's a potential move. But even just a reaction for a couple days, that's something you can be pretty confident the market can give you. As long as we can stay correctively on the way down, see some rejection there, there's a good chance we see a couple days of momentum, and that could be a nice trade on an intraday time frame as well. So yeah, yen basket still bullish, but I do want to see that retracement. And hopefully, if we do see that move down, that will provide me two opportunities, potentially one on pound yen. So if we see that push to the upside, that means yen strength. Push to the downside, sorry, that means yen weakness. Then that will probably give me a push to the upside here for pound yen, and hopefully a retest of this area, which is pretty much the same level in terms of consolidation, spike to the upside, big drop. That'll probably give me the retest of that area for a sell. And same with Euro Yen as well. That will probably give me a retest of resistance there for a short as well at 163.5. So that's kind of where I'm at with the yen pairs. A bit awkward, to be honest. And rightly so, with the yen basket looking very awkward as well. So I'm going to be a bit more patient with the yen basket and how those pairs develop. But in terms of the USD pairs, like I said, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, pound looks really good. Those are the opportunities I'm looking to see if I can take. I'm not too sure this week, already on Wednesday. Probably have to wait till next week for some decent pullbacks. Now we potentially could still see a decent pullback on pound this week. Not going to rule that out. 2, 3, 4 big bearish candles, we could easily see a retest of that zone. But yeah, pound USD still pretty bullish. 1.34 is my target. So in terms of my watch list, pound USD longs, Aussie longs, New Zealand longs. What's up, Philip? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. No worries, my man. Could request pound CHF and Euro CHF if you have time. I'm looking for buys short term. No problem. We'll take a look at them as well. In terms of my watch list, so pound USD longs, Aussie dollar longs, New Zealand dollar longs. Silver, I'm keep an eye on. It's not quite a good opportunity yet, so I'm not going to add it to my watch list. Pound yen, Euro yen are kind of on the watch list, but I don't really see opportunities, at least this week anyway, so I'm not quite focused on them just yet. And then pound NZD shorts as well, and that kind of makes up my watch list. So not many pairs I'm looking at. It's more stemmed around the dollar, just waiting for some decent retracements there. But we'll go take a look at pound CHF and euro CHF for Philip. Afonso, what's up? How long does that trade take to set up? You had an email receipt. But nothing in the account of simulation demo accounts. I don't understand your question. Are you saying you haven't got your account details? Afonso, if you can create a ticket on the, not a ticket, if you go to the website, there's a chat bot in the bottom right corner. You can chat with support staff and they should help you out, but I don't understand your question. Are you saying you don't have details to your account? The high elf got in pound ends the long 2.243. Okay, I'll go take a look at that as well. Looking for a good 72 pips. Okay. Okay, let's go through the CHF. So, pound Swiss. So you said you're looking to buy pound CHF or euro CHF. So, yeah, I mean, I think they are in need of some upside. So I think buy is actually the best play, to be honest, because we are definitely due some retracement. Heading to the daily chart, we're starting to see some rejection. Price came back into a major low here on the left, and I can see price has respected this low pretty well, and of course that is giving us a bit of a bounce to the upside. So ideally, I kind of would want to be long as close to that level as possible, because I know that's where we've got price support, and I know that's where if I can get a decent stop loss, I've probably got the most protection for pound CHF. Now the buys are still a little bit aggressive because we are going against momentum, but you are expecting to see a bit more retracement come back into the market. I did speak about some sells yesterday. I said if you're looking to sell the market, kind of waiting for us to push back into resistance first, there might be a short there on a more intraday level. But buys look good. I would kind of wait to see how we get back at that support level again. At the moment, we are looking pretty corrective on the way up here, so it doesn't give me a load of confidence in terms of a buy, to be honest, because of how we're pushing up. If we could push down and see another strong rejection, maybe some wicks, that could be a nice opportunity for a buy off the support level. But yeah, I wouldn't be looking to buy just yet, even on the intraday time frame. I mean, I understand that we are seeing some type of bullish trend in the way up, but it's still very, very corrective, so it wouldn't give me much confidence that it's going to last long. But pound CHF, looking for buys short term, I think that's probably the best way to do it, to be honest, because yes, the market is quite oversold. But you're not looking to try and reverse all of that momentum. You're just understanding that, okay, the market is a bit oversold. We're likely to bounce at some stage, but I'm fully prepared that momentum is still with the bears and it could still very much continue against me. So short-term buys look good. I think even some short-term buys off the low here, if we can get there, I think that would make sense as well. At the current price, I'm not too sure about short-term buys. I mean, let me know which time frame you're trading on. So it can be a bit more use. Signed up, paid for challenge, but no change in my account. Says I didn't have. Where does it say that? Go to the chat on the website so you can chat with support staff. But if you go to your accounts tab, you should have your. If you log in, sign up and log into your account, there's an accounts tab on the left, and your account details should be there. If not, then message support staff. Okay, let me take a look at Euro CHF. So Euro CHF, okay, this one's at support right now. It's kind of doing the same thing as pound Swiss. So yeah, with pound CHF, that was kind of pulled away, whereas Euro CHF were kind of still kind of alongside this level. It's very awkward with the way we're reacting, to be honest. Again, if I was looking to take a buy here for Euro CHF, I would wait for us to push back into the lows here and then look for some type of rejection at that area. And that's kind of where I look for that short-term buy, because we are still pretty consistent with all of these lower highs here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Potentially might see a fifth one form as well. So we're kind of squeezing between the trend line and support level. So I would be very cautious about any long-term buy. But as you said, you're looking for short-term. So I definitely do agree with that. We're naturally trading at support as well, so it makes sense. And yeah, something like that would look good. Nice push into the low, maybe we wick through a little bit, and that could provide a nice trade there for a buy. And then maybe we might continue falling over. But yeah, Euro CHF still comfortably at support right now, so I think buys are the best play. Market has had a pretty big drop, so it probably is in need of some upside pretty soon. But from current price, I'm not too sure about the buy. You kind of want price to be at the low first before taking a buy. Otherwise, you're kind of in a bit of an awkward place. You're probably going to get a decent stop loss placement either. If you can push back to 0.92, that would be the most ideal situation. So yeah, Euro CHF, pound CHF buys look good. I would wait for us to push back into support first before looking for a long. On the 4 hour and hour, okay, so yeah, I'll just wait for a push back into support because both of them are pulled away from support, so there's not kind of a suitable area for a stop loss placement. Okay, so we'll take a look at pound NZD for high elf, dark Sean Nas in the 5 minute. Okay, we'll have a look. See. No problem. Happy to help, Philip. Ahmed, Euro 30-minute time frame. Okay, we'll take a look. Let me take a look at pound NZD first. So pound NZD, I'm actually pretty bearish on. I am looking for a short on pound NZD. This is still the level I'm looking to trade from. So 2.265 up at the highs there. To be a bit more specific, more so around there. 2.27 is kind of where I'm looking to try and take a short. I'm looking to see if I can take it back down into this area. Lovely resistance. We broke through, never saw the retest, so naturally that would be a nice place for price to get back into. So pound NZD, I do like the sells for this one, but we need to see a push up first. At the moment, we're seeing a lot of wicks. So I think the buys actually look pretty good, to be honest. I think you said you're in a buy, high elf. Yes, you are in a buy. So I think the buys look good, coming back into the low here. Still seeing some wicks on the daily chart. Momentum slowing down. We've had a pretty big bearish move, but you can see by the candlesticks that momentum is slowly fizzling out, and we are starting to put a bit of a low in. So I do think pound NZD has a move to the upside for us. You can see we've been very, very corrective on the 4 hour chart as well, which is a strong sign that the market is just getting ready for that move to the upside there as well. So yeah, I think buys here look good for pound NZD, but I am expecting something like this to form, a pullback for a lower high than a short. 72 pips is not too much for pound NZD. It's normally filled with pips, so I mean 72 pips from current price, you're seeing a push around to there. So this is the 4 hour time frame, but I'm probably guessing you probably entered on a lower time frame. But yeah, you're not looking for anything too crazy, so pretty realistic target as well. Perhaps you're looking for a push into the low there, 2.25. I think that looks for a realistic target. But yeah, you're buying from a smart area, so I do like the idea there for pound NZD. What's up, Lighton? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so we'll go through NAS on the 5, Euro on the 30. I'm doing good, Lighton. Thank you. Thank you. Hope you're well. Paul, what's good? Hope you're well. What do you think of New Zealand yen sells? 84.45. Yeah, New Zealand yen is a nice place to short. We literally spoke about probably about 10 minutes ago, but I'll quickly go over that for you shortly. Lighton, dollar yen and USD ZAR. Okay, we'll take a look on those pairs as well. Okay, aiming for Monday's high, then retest. Okay, makes sense. So yeah, Monday's high would be there, wouldn't it? So yeah, not too far away. Actually, no, Monday's high is here. Yeah, Monday's high is there. So yeah, not too far away. I think pretty realistic target. Lines up pretty well for some support there, which will be turn resistance as well. I think there's a good chance price does get there. So yeah, I do like that trade there, the high alpha. I think it's got a good chance of playing out. Let's take a look at NAS on the 5 minute. Yeah, that is a big gap. Is that an actual gap, or is this FXCM being weird? Sometimes it does that. Nope. Okay, it's an actual gap. Actually, no. I'm not an FXCM, am I? I'm a capital. Okay, so that actually filled the gap there. Anyway, let's stick to the capital. So anyway, with NAS, so we respected support here on the left, and we started to roll over a few days ago. Didn't really get that continuation, which I was kind of looking for. I said I was looking for NAS to push back into resistance. Haven't quite seen that yet. And now we're kind of putting in lower highs. So I'll be less confident that we're going to see that move. One over there, second over there, third over there. Potentially a fourth, not confirmed yet. Of course, we haven't created a new low, but it's price is definitely struggling to push down. Funny how big that gap is there. It's even bigger than the gap at the start of the week. But yeah, I did talk about the retest of this area, which we did see a nice rejection of, but never really got us going to the upside. Well, enough to create new highs. Now we rolled over. So yeah, with the 5 minute chart, I think shorts look pretty good here. I like this range here, just above the consolidation. I feel like if we could see price push up into this kind of zone, it could be a nice place for a short. Excuse me. It could be a nice place for a short and potentially another one of these highs forming. Now, I probably wouldn't be so optimistic to try and short it all the way back to a new low. I think that's a bit optimistic, but we've got a gap on the left to fill. And we do have a zone where we kind of saw that momentum and that gap happen from. So naturally a push back into that area. We've got a good chance of finding resistance and seeing a push down, especially looking at these highs which the market's been creating. I think there's a good chance we could form another one at that similar area there as well. Pretty big move to the upside at the moment. Looks like price kind of correcting that move. So I do think we could still push up higher. I'm not so confident about the buys. I think I'd rather be looking to sell NAS, to be honest, on the 5 minute chart. So something like that would be the best. But again, it's not the prettiest market you'd ever see. So yeah, I think more information would be better. See how we get there. If it's nice and corrective, then we could see a nice short form. But NAS in the 5 minute, not looking like the best market in the world or the best price action. That's kind of what I would see. Okay, so we'll go through Euro on the 30. Yes, gap from last night opening. Yeah, that's a huge gap from last night. Huge gap. Bigger than the gap from the weekend. Anyway, let's take a look at Euro. So Euro USD 30-minute time frame. Okay, 30-minute was still pretty flat in general. Market is still lacking momentum. There's not a lot to do here in the 30, I would say, to be honest. Yeah, I'm not seeing much in the 30, to be honest. Ahmed, unfortunately, probably would just box this off as a range and leave price alone. Yeah, sometimes there's a good opportunity, sometimes there's an okay opportunity, and sometimes there's just no opportunity. Right now, I'm not seeing much of an opportunity, if anything, to be honest. I'll wait for more price action before looking at something. Again, if we could see a nice break of the highs and lows, well, we can build an idea from that. Even if we're just trading at resistance, you can build an idea from that, looking to short the high or buy the low. But right now, it's in the middle of it. I know there's some resistance to our left, but nothing of real significance. So I'm not too excited by that. I mean, we do have some of these lower highs forming, so maybe we'll form another one, but I think that's just a big maybe, to be honest. Don't really want to base a trade on a maybe. You want to be confident that something's likely to happen. I wouldn't be so confident about that for euro. So yeah, my biggest take on euro on the 30-minute is just moving sideways. So I would stay away, wait for more price action. Perhaps this time tomorrow there could be a nice trade. But at the moment, I'm not in love with the price action. On the 4-hour chart, I'm looking for the retest of this zone here. So that's something I do like. Really strong impulse. Now the market's a bit flat sideways, which is a good thing. If we can keep that up on the way down here, I think that'll be a solid place for a buy and a push back into resistance. So that's something a bit more on the 4-hour chart, which I know you're probably not interested in, but 30 looks like a myth right now. So I would stay away. Okay, so let's go through New Zealand yen for Paul. So yeah, New Zealand yen, I am pretty, again, I'm pretty bearish on in terms of the current price action, not necessarily long term anymore. We've already seen such a big move. Okay, expecting the gap fill, then a sell, then sell it, but it stopped in the middle of it. Oh, okay, yeah, it's a bit awkward, to be honest. It might still push a little bit higher to completely go fill the gap before we do short, which could be a nice trade maybe in the afternoon. What's up, Seas Integrated? Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Lighton, how to trade Trump markets. Course tutorial is due becomes confused since the introduction tariffs market is giving. Yeah, that course will be out soon, mate. Don't worry, that course will be out soon. Again, I think the best thing to do in terms of whatever your plan is just be a bit more cautious and a bit more aware of your risk. I think nothing really changes, especially if you're a very technical trader like myself. Nothing really changes. You know, you get numerous events throughout the world, different cycles, different times of panic or greed or whatever. And it's just a wave which you ride. When things are a bit more volatile, like they are a little bit now, be a bit more cautious of the risks. You're probably going to have naturally bigger stop losses, but naturally probably have bigger targets as well because of that extra movement in the market. So be aware of that. So maybe lower your lot size a little bit. If you're used to having 20 pip stop losses on a certain currency pair or whatever, maybe now it's 30 pips to account for that extra volatility, or maybe even double 40. As a result, maybe your targets will be double as well. So you're going to have to adjust your lot size. If you keep your lot size the same, you're going to be having double the loss and, of course, double the profit too. But again, you want to be able to manage that. So yeah, I think just keep an eye on that, but nothing really changes. Just focusing on what the plan is. And as long as there's a good trade, I don't see any problem not to take it. Anyway, in terms of New Zealand yen, Paul, you discussed 84.45. So whereabouts is that? 84.45. That's current price there. I'm also looking to see if we can push back into resistance again before short, because this is kind of the zone that I'm liking for New Zealand yen. If I expand to the daily chart quickly, you can see this is kind of where we had a brief pause in the market before a huge sell. That would be a nice place for a short for me. We did tap into that area yesterday, left behind a bit of a wick. So ideally, I would like to see price push back into that same zone, maybe even take out the high there from yesterday, and that could provide a nice sell. I'm not necessarily looking for a big sell for New Zealand yen. I understand the trend is still down on the higher time frames, but we've rejected some big levels on the weekly chart, which leads me to believe we might go for a bit of a pause or maybe a sideways movement. Because if you look to the left, we are trading at a pretty big level. Of course, we could still break through this, definitely, but just being a bit more cautious. So I like the shorts for New Zealand yen. Market's still overall bearish. We're back into some nice bearish territory. I like the way we've got there. It's nice and corrective, so that implies we'll probably see some downside pretty soon. But I would wait to see if we can push past the higher 85 before shorting. So that's the only thing I would say. But yeah, definitely a nice place for a short, and there is room to the downside. I'll sit my hands and see what New York Open will offer. Okay, fair enough. Close my DXY near TP yesterday. Nice. Today back to 99.4 again. Yeah. Back at support again, but really nice trade there. Cease integrated. Price kind of respect that support really well. Had a nice push up, but yeah, we're back again. So dollar's looking weak again. I'll take a look at the dollar in a moment. But we're still at the same lows again, so we could still see another bounce. But yeah, I'll go in a bit more detail in a second. First, I just need to take a look at USD ZAR and dollar yen for Lighten. If I've missed out a pair, let me know. Till then, binary looks good. What's up, Will? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you're doing good. So USD ZAR and dollar yen. So USD ZAR. Okay, so we've had a bit of a pullback, just not a very big one. We spoke about some pullbacks for USD ZAR back into this area. Of course, nice pause, price support, broke through. Would be nice for a retest, for a continuation, especially after the big rejection we had on the daily chart, weekly chart. Yeah, as we come back into major resistance here on the left, which is the all-time high. So very, very big resistance. And we did reject that. I'm still kind of naturally bullish bias here for USD ZAR. We haven't actually had a big break in structure yet, so I know we respected the high, but there's no real indication that we're about to double top this and turn around. You know, every time the market does push back into resistance here, it does normally break through. So that's still kind of my impression for USD ZAR. But I can see we're struggling, so sales still look good for now. But as we do start to push back into bullish territory like so, I think this is a decent place for a buy. Prior resistance on the left will be turned support. I do think we can at least tap into this area, probably go for a bit of a bounce. I wouldn't suggest look to try and hold a trade back to the swing high. I think it's a little bit optimistic, but I think it's a sensible place for a buy. If we can get there nice and slow, provide some wicks, I think it could be a nice little buy, perhaps back into a level like such. That could be a nice place to book some profit, or even the high here if it does push down. And that could be a nice place to book some profit and just and call it a day, maybe leave some positions to run. But USD ZAR on the higher time frames is still overall bullish, so I wouldn't ignore the buys. I understand we've had a lot of momentum the past week, which is this drop here. So sales do look good, but the buys are still overall in control of the market. So if a good bullish opportunity does form, I wouldn't look to turn it down. So yeah, 18.7 still looks pretty good to me. Oh, just hit my cup there. I profit out of £3. I can afford to lose £1 profit if the XY goes down. 98 still all good. Okay. So you're going to have 3 bullets in the chamber. Spend 1 if it doesn't work out, not the end of the world. Yeah, I think that's a good way to take a look at it, because of course probably got some nice profit from the trade yesterday, so I'd imagine that will still outweigh a potential loss if you were to take one. But we'll take a look at the dollar in a second. But yeah, USDs that's kind of my take there. Dollar yen. So dollar yen, I'm still pretty bearish on. I'm looking for a push back into 140, which is this level of support here. So I'm still looking at a bit more downside for us to get into that support level. And the idea is that, okay, if price is going to get there, well, if you do pull back and see some upside, there could be a nice short here to get involved and take it back into the support level. I've highlighted a couple levels where we can look to take some shorts from. So you've got support here at 145, you've got support there 146.7. Those would be some nice areas to pull back into. It looks like the market right now is still respecting support pretty well. So if we can push the upside back into those levels, those naturally would be some nice places to short. And of course, this area here too would naturally be a nice place to short as well. But yeah, I think there's a very high chance that dollar yen gets back to 140. We probably just roll over, to be honest. We might not even see the pullback, but if it does pull back, that means an opportunity to take advantage of if it does, because we've got a very clean bearish trend. I think it's very unrealistic for us to suddenly reverse from here and see some upside. Of course, anything could happen. But I think we're more likely to come back and test support first. If we are going to reverse, it's probably going to be from that low rather than where we are trading. So naturally, I do think dollar yen is likely to fall. So if you do push up first, it's probably going to put a lower high in for us to continue falling. So shorts for dollar yen look good. Same analysis as yesterday, pretty much. Nothing's really changed with this one. All we've been doing is just moving sideways. In terms of the DXY, so the dollar, still pretty bearish on this one as a whole. I'm still looking to short, but I need price to at least pull back into 101.5 before I can discuss some selling opportunities. At the moment, we are trading at support, so we've got this lovely low here, taking that across. You can see this is the daily chart. We are still just about holding on to that. Had a nice bullish close yesterday, but again, nothing crazy in terms of rejection. And you can see we are getting some nice higher lows here with the wicks. Now we have kind of pierced through that, so it's a little bit more awkward now as I dropped the 4-hour chart. I mean, I would say the positive thing is, if I move this out of the way, we know the support level's there. We don't necessarily need it there. Positive thing is we're still holding on to support there. It'll be interesting to see how this 4-hour kind of does close. It closes in the next 40 minutes roughly. If we can close as a doji here, or even a bullish candle, but at least a doji, with those wicks to the downside, do you think the next 4-hour candle can give us a bit of a push higher? Whether it will be back to resistance all the way up there, I'm not too sure. But I do expect to see at least a bit of a pop to the upside from that support level because it's still holding. But again, we've still got 40 minutes. A lot can happen in that time. How we look in the hourly chart? Yeah, a lot can happen in that time. So I think the 4-hour candle will be very, very important. Hourly chart not looking so hot. Yesterday we had some really nice wicks. I think this is where CS integrated got long. So lovely entry around there-ish. It might have been earlier. But yeah, really nice swing to the upside before coming back down. So we'll see how that 4-hour candle closes. If it does give us a nice doji here or even a bullish close, I think the next 4-hour can definitely give us a, not definitely, I shouldn't say that word, most likely give us a push to the upside. But again, I'm not looking for anything long term here for the dollar. I think, like you said yesterday, CS integrated, keep it short and sweet, probably in and out on the same day. We might see a bit of momentum today, but tomorrow could give us a very big bearish move at any time as well. The market is still pretty bearish. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the dollar. No problem, Lighton. Happy to help. So in terms with some of the indices, we just had a look at NAS, S&P. I haven't spoke about this one yet. I did speak about some buys last week. Was it last week or was it on Monday? I think it might be Monday actually. I did speak about some buys at this level here. Haven't really seen much of a reaction, to be honest. A slight bounce there, but overall very awkward. Kind of gapped into the level. With every candle and how things are looking, I do have more and more confidence with the bears that we're probably going to fall over here with S&P, because we had all that momentum last week Wednesday, and nothing's really happened since then. We've just been incredibly flat, and the more flat we are, the more likely I think we are just going to roll over, to be honest, until we see again potentially something could happen in the news and we see a massive buying pressure step back in. Of course, that can change in an instant, but we still do have very comfortable bearish structure above us, which we did just about test last Thursday, I believe. Nope, we didn't. We just missed it. So it would be nice for us to go and test that level. But the way price is pushed up and we're kind of just flat right now, I think we're probably going to consolidate and just roll over naturally. Maybe not now, as in we see the big move. We might still see some upside first, but I do think the bigger move now for the S&P is likely to be lower. Not seeing much confidence in the way we're moving. So if we were to push back into resistance, I would definitely keep an eye on that. I feel like that could be a nice short. We have filled the gap already with that wick there, so that's kind of done and dusted. But altogether, the market's incredibly flat. I'm not really seeing much of an opportunity right now, but I would be getting ready for some sales, to be honest, with the S&P. US 30. Same thing as well. We've got lovely support here on the left. Take that across. You can see price is still holding onto that as resistance. And nice close as well yesterday too. So I do think price is going to roll over, to be honest. We might see another push higher first, but if we can fail at the high, that would be a nice short signal. I say that because the market is still putting in higher lows, and we do have kind of a lot of equal highs here. So potentially you might see price spike into that first before falling. But because the move is still very corrective in general, I don't think it's a reversal. I think we're likely to fall over. Okay, just trade preference, short and sweet. Intraday, long term, I am bearish. Okay. I think it's even in terms of the type of move you try and take advantage of, CS integrated, because of course momentum is heavily bearish and you're taking a buy. Just in general, if you're looking to try and take counter trend trades when momentum is very against you, like it is with the dollar, in general anyway, you want to be short and sweet with that type of trade. I know that's your preference, but it actually makes sense based on the conditions of the market. You know, if you like long-term swings and you're looking to jump into some buys in the dollar, yes, there probably will be a big pullback at some stage. So I think buys could make sense from that angle, because the dollar is going to need to retrace at some point and probably going to give us at least a few days, maybe even a week or two of bullish price action before selling off. But of course, that could happen at any point. It could happen this week, next month, the month after. We don't know when that's going to happen. But if you are going to take some counter trend opportunities when momentum is really against you, well, then you want to focus on short term anyway. You want to keep it short and sweet, because you might see a nice reaction and things go in your favor. But then the longer you're in that trade, the longer you're in the trade, the bigger the chance that momentum is eventually going to turn against you and continue in its original path. So you want to keep it short and sweet, because the odds of you plucking a low and holding that trade for a few days and catching a reversal is pretty slim. So by default, you want to be short and sweet. If of course you're pro trend and you're potentially capitalizing the swing high, maybe you want to be not so short and sweet, because that trade has the potential to continue if you're gonna flow of the trend, of course. If you're going to go counter trend, you want to keep it short and sweet. Yusuf, good morning. Hope you're well. Hope a great day. Yeah, I mean, the day's still young, not even midday yet. But yeah, in terms of my watch list, I'm still very eager for the USD pairs. Yen pairs, I'm kind of putting to one side a little bit because they're a little bit more not clean as I want them to be. I still have that bias of where I expect price to go, but you don't let that bias blind you. You might have an expectation of a market doing something, but if the opportunity is not good, then there's no point trading it because your bias could be wrong in the first place as well. So yen pairs are just a bit awkward right now. I think the best pairs I can see that fit my plan well, momentum looks good, direction looks good, higher time frames look good as well. I think is the 3 USD pairs, pound USD longs, Aussie dollar longs, and New Zealand dollar longs. Expecting a push back into the highs here at 1.34, 1.345-ish. And yeah, I'm looking for a pullback and more upside there for pound USD. Very, very confident price action on the 4-hour chart. Strong V-shape reversal. Now I'm looking at a pullback and a continuation. We've got prior resistance here on the left, which price is just broken through this week, which of course naturally will be acting as a level of support. It would be great to see if we can get a pullback into that area and then hopefully some longs off the retest of that. So pound USD looks good. Aussie dollar looks really good as well. Similar opportunity. You've got the V-shaped pattern there as well. Wow, the market is still looking pretty bullish today, aren't we? Yeah. So I mean, looking at two opportunities. Either we pull back into this support level here at 0.624, or we go and break the high and potentially look at some retests there. Any which way, I do expect us to continue to push to the upside. A lot of selling pressure. Markets completely erased that. This is where we sold off from, and now we're back there. So that goes to show that all of this momentum was just a load of rubbish, and now we'll kind of reverse that. So now that probably sucked in a lot of sellers, taking a lot of liquidity to the downside. I do think we've got that momentum now to actually reverse and put a low in. So Aussie dollar buys look good, and New Zealand dollar looks good for the same reason as well. Big sell, completely erased. We've smashed through the highs there too. So now looking for a pullback into support there, and hopefully a nice buy there afterwards. 0.578 is definitely the plan. So these three look the best. Yeah, that's kind of where my focus is. No problem, CS Integrated. Happy to help. CJ, what is up? Look at UK 100, please. Okay, we'll have a look. See you 4-hour break and retest to the upside. Okay, I actually looked at the UK 100. I think I looked at it on Monday, or was it last week? Yeah, it might have been last week actually. Yeah, because I remember I spoke about the retest of that consolidation. It was a nice wick into it. I said if we can wick back again, that could be a nice entry, but the market just continued to fly to the upside there, and we broke through resistance as well. Okay, so let me just get rid of that drawing so we can start fresh. So higher time frames, where are we? Okay, so we've had that big spike. We did tap into this area here, which was a pretty big consolidation and a good cause for us to see some upside as well. So we've tapped into that big reaction, and the market's slowly pushing up. No kind of area of significance right now on the weekly chart, because we're back above this support level here. So 8K was a pretty significant level. I would say as we approach resistance again around 83.55, that would be the next big significant level there as well. And of course you got that low there too as well. But if I drop to the 4-hour, still seeing bullish momentum. I think there could be a nice buy actually. Let me drop to the hourly chart. I like this consolidation here. which also pretty much lines up with the high there on the left. If you can see price spike back into that same area again, I think that's a smart place for a buy. And of course, targets, the high here or the high there makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I do agree with that 4-hour break and retest. I think I'll be a bit more specific in terms of where that break and retest comes from, because of course, in general, price is broken through resistance. So now you've got support here to buy from on a retest. But more so, you got this area here where all that momentum came from. So I would like to see if I can get a test of that area, a nice wick into that zone. Of course, you've got the confluence of the 4-hour resistance and support anyway. So it adds up, it lines up very well. And that to me looks like a nice place for a trade. You've probably got some earlier participants getting involved with some stop losses below there as well. So you can potentially go and flush those orders out the market. And then you could see price turn around. And targets back at one of those highs, I think makes the most sense. But there's a lot of momentum here. I'm not too sure about the bigger move for UK 100. I'm still on the fence a little bit. I mean, I think this could be a new higher low, to be honest. I find it very hard to believe that we're going to come and take out that low. I don't see us doing that. I feel like this is going to be a low that takes us back into the highs here. I could be wrong, of course. No problem. CJ, happy to help. Could be wrong, of course. Maybe price does take out that low, but I think that is going to be a strong low for us, and I do think we're going to see a lot more upside from that point there. And slowly but surely, I think price can make its way back to 89k, which is not 89, so 89k, 8900, which will be the higher there. But yeah, from an intraday play, I like the level a lot. And next big target for UK 100 would be resistance there, 83.55. In terms of the DAX, another market I haven't looked at in a while. Let's see what we've done on the weekly. Okay, so big spike lower. The DAX, I wouldn't be so confident that is the low. I could probably see price taking that out, but it's going to take a lot of momentum for us to do that anyway. So yeah, dropping more to the lower time frames for the DAX. We've got major resistance here on the left. Oh, didn't mean to do that. It looks like to me that price is slowly making its way towards that area. Looks like price came back to test some lovely consolidation in this area here this morning. Nice place for a buy. Wicked into it. Nice push to the upside. I do think we can make our way back into resistance here, and then resistance, of course, over here as well. So, yeah, DAX as well looks like we've got a push. I think indices, actually, I take that back. I was going to say indices in general look pretty bullish, but some of the US indices are a little bit weird right now. But the DAX and the FTSE, I think some buys there. I mean, the DAX has probably already done its job. It might kind of continue higher now. Ideally, kind of ready want to be in the trade. Couldn't get my words out there. Nice kind of double bottom down the 15. I mean, if it was to come back over again, that could still be a nice opportunity for a long. But now that we've had a solid retest, we might continue anyway. But the FTSE, though, still a nice level there for a buy. So I'll keep a close eye on that. Let me have a look at BTC. I haven't actually looked at this one in a while. I haven't looked at this one since the weekend, actually. So Bitcoin failing at resistance there. That doesn't look too good, actually. Let me see how we look with this trend line. So we've broken through the trend line, but it's just quite awkward right now with Bitcoin, because we've broken through the trend line, which I said is a strong bullish indication, and we could see price start to rally now, which I still do believe. It's just a bit awkward because momentum is fading. That's not really what you want to see with a breakout. After a breakout, whether a trend line or support or resistance or whatever confluence, you kind of want momentum to continue. Not reject the highs that we did with those wicks there. So that is a bit of a red flag, but again, it could just be price moving sideways before we do see another breakout of this range, and that kind of gets us going. So that could happen as well. But in terms of targets, this is why I said Bitcoin has a good chance of getting to if we could see the break of the trend line, which we did. So I do think a push that 91, 92K looks pretty reasonable. Dropping to the 4-hour chart, we're still respecting support, which is good as well. This actually could be a nice buy on the 4-hour time frame. Coming back to retest the high there, solid rejection. Keeping it relatively simple, push back into resistance there makes the most sense. I think that looks like a good target to me. And then if you're lucky, maybe you do see that bigger swing to the upside as well. But if we do come crashing back down, as in back below this area here, well, that's when I would hold back with that bullish bias, because at that point, we've lost that momentum on the breakout, which is a key concept of a breakout. You don't only want price to break out of a trend line or support or whatever. You want it to do it strongly with momentum, and you want that momentum to show signs of continuation. If it starts to break back inside the level, whichever it broke out of, then of course that's a huge red flag. But also if it starts to provide a lot of wicks in the direction of the breakout, that's also a red flag as well. So yeah, I think Bitcoin's still a nice buy, but I'll be cautious as we approach resistance, because we could respect it again. If we can see price close above there in the daily chart, above that resistance as well with those wicks, well, we might see part 2 of that breakout happen and a continuation. I did say it would be nice for Bitcoin to come back and retest the high here, but we just about missed that. Maybe price is still on course for a retest of that level. But yeah, as long as we stay above that level, then I do think upside could look good. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Bitcoin as well. If you guys are enjoying the stream, by the way, please be sure to drop a like on the stream. It does really help out. Subscribe to the channel, that helps out too, and of course keeps you in the loop of things, and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads, because of course you will be notified. But I do really appreciate everyone who has liked the stream so far. It helps get the content out there, so I do really appreciate that, guys. What's up, Manzondi? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. I'm going to get some good US Fed news, even if these Trump tariffs go hard on Canada and Europe, potentially. But how bullish will it be? I don't know. Again, that's the thing with news. It's always context. You can get some bullish news, but it might not be bullish enough that some other negative news is still the overwhelming bias for the dollar or whatever currency you're talking about. You can get some bullish news, but because something is still pretty bearish, the market stays bearish. Or sometimes it goes bullish for a little bit, but then everyone remembers what's happened previously, and then things go bearish again as well. So it's a little bit tricky to maneuver around that, but we could see a reaction, a bullish reaction, but it might not last that long. But again, doesn't need to be. We're traders, not necessarily investors of the dollar anyway, or at least I'm not. So that shorter term opportunity could be a nice trade idea on the lower time frames. But yeah, I'm on the sidelines. I don't have any positions on the moment. I know what I'm looking to do with the dollar, which is still short it. In fact, if we could see a bullish USD, that would help me out, because I do need some retracements for euro, pound, Aussie dollar, and New Zealand dollar. So if I can get a bullish dollar, that will help me out quite a lot, because those markets are still soaring to the upside and leaving me in the dust a little bit. So I do need some pullbacks, to be honest. So I would hope to see a bullish dollar. We've also got CAD interest rate, which is expected to stay the same. But CAD is still in the mud a little bit. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Do got a Powell speech at 6:30 in the evening. That's the UK time as well. Tomorrow, unemployment rate for Aussie 2:30 in the morning. I'll be fast asleep, so I won't be watching that news. And then we got ECB interest rates at 1:15 tomorrow. That's going to be interesting for Euro. Rates expected to cut. I think maybe finally we see some weakness for Euro tomorrow afternoon because Euro has been so strong. I feel like an interest rate cut is a good excuse for Euro to plummet. From 2.65, consensus is 2.4. So yeah, I feel like that would be a good excuse for the Euro to actually fall. I see some downside. So I'll keep an eye on that. That's at 1:15 UK time. Then we've got some jobless claims for the dollar in the afternoon. Building permits. Then Friday we've got JPY inflation. That's expected to stay the same. That's at 12:30 at night, so early in the morning. And that's pretty much it. Okay, it's Good Friday on Friday. I forgot about that. Yeah, is it Easter Sunday this week? So yeah, it's Good Fridays, and I think it's a bank holiday on Monday, so might not see too much momentum from Friday into the weekend and into Monday next week. Then we might pick up again Tuesday. But then we say that, but then if Trump farts, we could still see some movement, I bet. Or at least probably coming on Tuesday then. But yeah, still some interesting events. I think Euro interest rates is really interesting tomorrow. I feel like that might be a good excuse for Euro weakness, but we'll see. Should be hating on Trump. Mate, Trump is just providing opportunities for us in the markets. Just got to be on the right side of it, that's all. Anyway, we'll go through Yusuf regarding that advice you gave me on Monday on sticking to one type of market in order to know how it moves as a beginner. Every time I open a chart, what I look for is patterns and direction. That's good. Yeah, that's good. Like I said, you don't want to be going looking at small cryptocurrencies because that's a whole different ball game. You don't necessarily need to stick to one type of market. You can look at indices if you want, because the price action there is a bit more transferable to FX than a small cryptocurrency, because that's going to be volatile and it's going to have weird patterns. And if some group of people with a decent amount of money look to buy it, well, all of a sudden you're going to have a big bullish move. It's quite difficult to predict that with technicals alone. FX, you're going to have a lot of money, a lot of liquidity, so the technicals are a lot more pure. Indices, likewise. Commodities, likewise as well. Not as much as FX, but still a lot of participants involved with those markets as well. Smaller cryptocurrencies, not so much, so I would avoid them. But you can have at it with FX, have at it with indices, metals, commodities. I think those are the markets you want to stick to, at least for now anyway. Learn your trade. You can always experiment and do other things as your trading journey goes on. But I think in terms of the beginning, I would stay away from the smaller cryptocurrencies. I don't see much point there. Pips Hunter, okay, we'll have a look at the Nasdaq for you, no problem. What do you suggest that I should do in order for me to be able to differentiate between my selected pairs? I don't know what you mean by that. What do you mean to do you mean like differentiate between the price action of your pairs, or yeah, I'm confused by your question, Yusuf. Yeah, sure, Pips Hunter. We'll take a look at Nasdaq. I saw your message. But yeah, if you could rephrase that, Yusuf, or something, so I can be of assistance there. Okay, let me have a look at the NAS. So, yeah, NASDAQ, I do have a more bearish bias on the shorter time frames. We had a lovely gap to the downside as the market opened for today, a really big one. And it has left behind some areas which, if we were to come back and retest, I think would be a nice place for a short. We haven't quite filled the gap yet. We've done about 90% of that. There's still a little bit of open space here we could go and fill potentially. And we do have a nice kind of brief consolidation here, which gave us that move to the downside anyway. Looking at these lower highs, one over there, second there, I think we could potentially see a third in a similar area. So something like this into that area. We might see a third into a similar area, spike into that, and that could provide a nice short. Again, I probably wouldn't be so optimistic about a push all the way back to lows here. I think, let's say if we form support here, that might be a nice place to call it a day. Depending on your risk reward and what you're after, that could be a nice trade just to call it a day, because overall NAS is quite flat right now. It's not really shorting the position where you want to look for a big swing. The price action is incredibly flat. We're not really trending well. We're not really seeing momentum. So with that, you kind of want to take advantage of a nice opportunity and start to look to exit your positions as we come into areas where perhaps buyers could look to get into the market and send price against you. So yeah, NAS, I think that's a nice place for a short, 18,800. I'll keep an eye on that. Perhaps 15 5-minute chart. Higher time frames, I do like this level here. So if we could push back into that, start to reject that, that could be a nice place for a short and a push back down for a bigger move for the NAS. Perhaps another lower high could form, but we're still got some time before that does happen. So I would be a bit patient for that one. Okay, Yusuf, for me to differentiate between the price action of my pairs, for example, USD pound. Okay, take care. We'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Appreciate you coming on, my man. So to answer your question, you don't really need to differentiate between the price action of euro and pound. You're learning how to trade based on patterns. As you gain experience, you'll notice some tendencies from other markets, and you could use that to your advantage. Or, you can use that to your advantage in terms of, okay, I notice this pair does this a little bit more, so let me play into that, or let me avoid this. That would just be as you gain experience. But pound USD, Euro USD are very similar markets anyway. You know, bullish engulfing candle is the same thing for Euro, same thing for pound. Price action is the study of what price is doing a lot. If you're going to be very, very intraday, then you might want to focus on just one currency pair. So if you trade like the 5 or 1 minute chart, you probably can get away with just trading one pair because there'll be enough opportunities, but you don't need to necessarily know the difference between them in order to be profitable. That difference between them you will gain as you experience. I mean, they're very similar markets in general, but pound USD will have some tendencies that euro doesn't, and likewise as any market would do. I trade about over 30 markets, so there's a lot for me to juggle, but I'm always picking the best opportunity that I can find, and I'm not really too bothered about which market comes from. Maybe this week it's CAD CHF, maybe next week it's Aussie CAD, maybe the week after it's Euro Yen. I'm not really too bothered about it. So I'm not really so concerned about the tendencies of each market. Yes, I want to be aware of that because it could help me. But I'm more focused on just trying to find a good opportunity and play into those patterns. So yeah, as you spend time watching price, that's how you will spot differences between markets. But the key thing as a beginner is not necessarily that. That's something that comes a bit late in your journey as you spend time watching price and studying. In the beginning, you want to try and formulate a plan and an edge and try and trade that with consistency. then as you journal and you spend time with the market, you can spot differences. Okay, pound seems to reverse typically here, whereas euro seems to do this or continue further, or a particular time in the session as well. You can spot differences there. That can play into your hands later, but that's a bit more something that comes later down the road. Especially as a beginner. As a beginner, you just want to focus on finding an edge and executing that edge consistently, because there's so many difficulties with trading. Managing emotions, managing expectations, managing fear and greed, managing your consistency, your application of an edge, understanding of an edge. There's so many things to worry about. I think learning the differences between euro and pound, something that comes a little bit later. But it's a smart question, but I feel like there's bigger fish to fry first as a beginner before you get there. So I'll just focus on applying an edge and learning from there. Anyway, I said I was going to go through some of the CHF pairs because I do think they are coming to areas where we could be seeing some big reversals, particularly Aussie CHF, New Zealand CHF, and CAD CHF as well, but I like Aussie and New Zealand the best. Last week we put in a bit of a doji here, so it looks like price is starting to form support right now, and I do think we're getting ready for a big push to the upside. The only thing is that we're a little bit flat and we're not really seeing much momentum anymore. We had a big push last week Wednesday. That's kind of when we had all the noise in the market. I'm kind of slowly grinded to the upside since then, but nothing that's given me too much confidence to jump into any position. So as I said yesterday, if we can break some structure to the upside, well, that could be something of interest to me. Because if we can see some momentum come back in, perhaps a retest of the high or maybe a retest of a range somewhere, that could be a nice trade. I'm expecting us to push it all the way back into this area. So I do expect a pretty big move in the market naturally for Aussie CHF. And again, that's typically based that we're at an all-time low. When the market does create a new all-time low for Aussie CHF and CHF pairs in general, we do tend to revert quite a lot and see a big recovery afterwards. So a push back into this area is actually pretty reasonable. We could go actually a lot further than that, but we'll play it for there for now. And same thing with New Zealand CHF as well. No problem, Yusuf. Happy to help. Same thing with New Zealand CHF. I'm looking for a push at least back into this area here too, which is around 0.5. I think there's a good chance we can see a push back into that level. This one we've seen a bit more momentum, but it's still pretty corrective. Again, coming back into resistance, not the best time to be looking to buy the market either. So again, looking to see if we can break resistance here, push to the upside, and then perhaps some pullbacks afterwards might present a nice buy. There is, in fairness, a bit of a trend line connecting us here. So if we can stay consistent with that, that could be a nice idea to base a trade from. If, of course, we start to see some momentum and prices breaking through that, well, I would back away. Because that could take us back into lows and some new lows as well. But I do think the next big move for the CHF pairs will be a big buy. They've had some really aggressive sells. I think New Zealand and Aussie are the better ones. CAD CHF looks okay as well. I haven't seen as much opportunity for reversal just yet with this one. Again, overall still looking pretty bearish. These are the all-time lows for CAD CHF. We might just wick through them again, to be honest. As I expand to the weekly chart and zoom right out, you can see, we haven't gone this low before, at least since the 80s. So it's we're very, very low down for CAD CHF, and we're likely to push back up into support pretty soon. So again, with this one, where I expect us to get to, well, at least back into this low here and above that point. And that's kind of where I look to target. But right now, we're kind of ranging. Something that I might look at will be a breakout of the range and a retest of it. Something like that. But But I think New Zealand and Aussie are a lot cleaner. So, or potentially could be. They're not clean just yet. So I'd rather just focus on those two because I'm taking advantage of the same idea. No need to try and force it on CAD CHF as well. If Aussie CHF and New Zealand CHF both see some moves to the upside, well, it's a good chance that CAD, Euro, Pound will probably see some upside. Even Dollar CHF will probably see some upside as well. And actually, I haven't actually spoke about Dollar CHF. That one's been so bearish. But again, for this one, I do expect us to push the upside as well. Another market that is kind of just ranging and moving very flat. I do think we're due a bit of a pullback pretty soon. We're taking out some major lows on the daily, weekly chart. As you can see, price is taking out some lows there. I do think we are in need of a recovery of that. I still think the bigger move for Dollar CHF is probably down as well. If we zoom out and look at the overall trend of the market, it's still pretty bearish. So it's likely going to keep falling and probably at some point going to come back to the lows there of 2011, which is crazy. That's 14 years ago. So we're probably going to get back to those lows eventually, but we don't need to focus that just yet because it could still take another 14 years for us to get there. And I don't think any of us have got 14 years to chalk off to one trade idea, so we can leave that be. But it's just something to keep in mind that, okay, we could still go a lot further. The market is very bearish, yes, but doesn't mean we have to reverse and completely push up. We could see still a lot of upside, but could still be a lot more downside. So sales predominantly for Dollar CHF, but as we approach these lows here, I do think some buys could look good. As we lose that bullish momentum, I'll keep an eye on DXY. Still want to see us give a strong break to the upside like so. Something like that could be a nice buy. Of course, with the DXY, I think it's important to keep an eye on this. Okay, so this candle is about to close in the next 2 minutes. I said if you can close as a doji or potentially bullish, that can give us a bit of hope that the next 4 hour candle might be bullish there as well. The dollar, in fairness, is kind of consolidating too. So if this can break out the consolidation completely, that'll be a very strong sign that, okay, dollar strength is coming back into the market. And then probably you will see Dollar CHF follow suit. And that might be a nice trade there to follow. But of course, if the DXY stays bearish, it doesn't really break out the range, it might continue to be quite flat or continue to fall over even. And that probably won't present us a nice trade opportunity at all. So I think the dollar's going to be very important there. But going forward this week, it's been pretty relaxed week in the markets for myself. Haven't got a position yet, but rightly so. There's nothing there for me to take, so don't want to force anything. That's the worst thing to do. I still got those pairs which I really do like, and I'm hoping we can see some pullbacks potentially this afternoon. To be honest, we've got some dollar news. Maybe that might give us some strength. I feel like pound USD. All the pairs I'm looking to buy are in desperate need of pullbacks. They've been so bullish for a while. Pound USD, Aussie dollar. You see how stretched that one is, and then especially and the USD as well. That one's been flying since the low here, just chugging to the upside. So I do think this one's in desperate need of a pullback as well. So all these markets definitely need some pullbacks, and hopefully they can happen this week, and hopefully can find some entries as well off the back of that. Then yeah, I'll be looking to see if I can take them back into highs and maybe even further as well. But I won't be trying to look for any big move. Already had some big moves as well, so I'm going to be a bit more in and out approach. I might leave some positions to trail, but I probably won't be looking for such a big risk reward in general. But yeah, pound USD longs, Aussie dollar longs, New Zealand dollar longs are my preferred currency pairs, and I also do like pound entity shorts as well. But that one's nowhere near my level. 2.27, need to see a pullback into that zone first, and then I can look for some shorts, kind of like a big head and shoulder pattern. You know, there's your left, there's your head, and there's your right shoulder. So yeah, those are the pairs I'm looking at. We'll keep you guys updated. I do have a Telegram channel which I do share some of my trades. So if you are interested, check that out. And of course, check out the Discord as well, because I will post ideas before I look to take them as well. So if you are interested, make sure you go check it out and have a look. The link to that is in the description below and also at the top of the chat. But guys, I do really appreciate you tuning into another stream. I will be live again tomorrow, same time as always, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So if you're free, pop in, come say hi, come chat with us and see what the markets are doing. It's been a very interesting week, 24 hours, well, not really 24 hours, more like 48 hours, but more so a week in the markets. We do have some holidays coming up with Good Friday and Bank Holiday on Monday, so maybe things dry up a little bit. We'll have to wait and see. But there's still opportunities regardless, so if a good opportunity comes my way, I'll look to take it. But guys, thank you so much for tuning into another stream. If you have enjoyed it, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, hit the bell. That's what I meant to say. Hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. And I really do appreciate all the nice comments you guys do leave and the likes and subscribing to the channel. It does really help out. So I do really appreciate that, guys. But have a good one. I'll hope to see you tomorrow. If not, have a great day. But take care, guys. I'll see you in the next one.